Our solar system is located in the Milky Way, a barred spiral galaxy with two major arms and two minor arms. Our Sun is in a small, partial arm of the Milky Way called the Orion Arm, or Orion Spur, between the Sagittarius and Perseus arms. Our solar system orbits the center of the galaxy at about 515,000 miles per hour, 828,000 kilometers per hour. It takes about 230 million years to complete one orbit around the galactic center. Our solar system includes the Sun, 8 planets, 5 officially named dwarf planets, hundreds of moons, and thousands of asteroids and comets. The Sun's gravity holds the solar system together, keeping everything from the biggest planets to the smallest particles of debris in its orbit. The connection and interactions between the Sun and Earth drive the seasons, ocean currents, weather, climate, radiation belts, and auroras. Though it is special to us, there are billions of stars like our Sun scattered across the Milky Way galaxy. The order and arrangement of the planets and other bodies in our solar system is due to the way the solar system formed. Nearest to the Sun, only rocky material could withstand the heat when the solar system was young. For this reason, the first 4 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are terrestrial planets. They're all small with solid, rocky surfaces. Meanwhile, materials we are used to seeing as ice, liquid, or gas settled in the outer regions of the young solar system. Gravity pulled these materials together, and that is where we find gas giants Jupiter and Saturn, and the ice giants Uranus and Neptune. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system and nearest to the Sun. It's only slightly larger than Earth's moon. From the surface of Mercury, the Sun would appear more than 3 times as large as it does when viewed from Earth, and the sunlight would be as much as 7 times brighter. Mercury's surface temperatures are both extremely hot and cold. Because the planet is so close to the Sun, day temperatures can reach highs of 800 degrees Fahrenheit, 430 degrees Celsius. Without an atmosphere to retain that heat at night, temperatures can dip as low as minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 180 degrees Celsius. Despite its proximity to the Sun, Mercury is not the hottest planet in our solar system. That title belongs to nearby Venus, thanks to its dense atmosphere. But Mercury is the fastest planet, zipping around the Sun every 88 Earth days. Venus is the second planet from the Sun and Earth's closest planetary neighbor. Venus is the 3rd brightest object in the sky after the Sun and Moon. Venus spins slowly in the opposite direction from most planets. Venus is similar in structure and size to Earth, and is sometimes called Earth's evil twin. Its thick atmosphere traps heat in a runaway greenhouse effect, making it the hottest planet in our solar system with surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead. Below the dense, persistent clouds, the surface has volcanoes and deformed mountains. Venus orbits the Sun from an average distance of 67 million miles, 108 million kilometers, or 0.72 astronomical units. 1 astronomical unit, abbreviated as AU, is the distance from the Sun to Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight about 6 minutes to travel from the Sun to Venus. The planet is nearly as big around as Earth. Its diameter at its equator is about 7,521 miles, 12,104 kilometers, versus 7,926 miles, 12,756 kilometers, for Earth. From Earth, Venus is the brightest object in the night sky after our own moon. The ancients, therefore, gave it great importance in their cultures, even thinking it was 2 objects. a morning star and an evening star. That's where the trick of perspective comes in. Spending a day on Venus would be quite a disorienting experience. That is, if your spacecraft or spacesuit could protect you from temperatures in the range of 900 degrees Fahrenheit, 475 Celsius. For one thing, your day would be 243 Earth days long. Longer even than a Venus year, one trip around the Sun, which takes only 225 Earth days. For another, because of the planet's extremely slow rotation, sunrise to sunset would take 117 Earth days. And by the way, the Sun would rise in the west and set in the east because Venus spins backward compared to Earth. Earth, our home planet, is the third planet from the Sun and the fifth largest planet. It's the only place we know of inhabited by living things. It is the only planet in our solar system with liquid water on the surface, just slightly larger than nearby Venus. Earth is the biggest of the four planets closest to the Sun, all of which are made of rock and metal. With an equatorial diameter of 7,926 miles, 12,756 kilometers, Earth is the biggest of the terrestrial planets and the fifth largest planet in our solar system. From an average distance of 93 million miles, 150 million kilometers, Earth is exactly one astronomical unit away from the Sun. It takes about 8 minutes for light from the Sun to reach our planet. As Earth orbits the Sun, it completes one rotation every 23.9 hours. It takes 365.25 days to complete one trip around the Sun. Earth's axis of rotation is tilted 23.4 degrees with respect to the plane of Earth's orbit around the Sun. This tilt causes our yearly cycle of seasons. During part of the year, the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the Sun, and the southern hemisphere is tilted away. With the Sun higher in the sky, solar heating is greater in the north, producing summer there. Less direct solar heating produces winter in the south. 6 months later, the situation is reversed. When spring and fall begin, both hemispheres receive roughly equal amounts of heat from the Sun. Like Mars and Venus, Earth has volcanoes, mountains, and valleys. Earth's global ocean, which covers about 71% of the planet's surface, has an average depth of about 2.3 miles, 3.6 kilometers. It contains 97% of Earth's water. Almost all of Earth's volcanoes are hidden under these oceans. Near the surface, Earth has an atmosphere that consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other gases such as argon, carbon dioxide, and neon. The atmosphere affects Earth's long-term climate and short-term local weather and shields us from much of the harmful radiation coming from the Sun. It also protects us from meteoroids, most of which burn up in the atmosphere, seen as meteors in the night sky, before they can strike the surface as meteorites. Earth is the only planet in our solar system with only one moon. Our moon is the brightest and most familiar object in the night sky. Our moon is likely the result of a collision billions of years ago. When Earth was a young planet, a large chunk of rock smashed into it, displacing a portion of Earth's interior. The resulting chunks clumped together and formed our moon. With a radius of 1,080 miles, 1,738 kilometers, the moon is the fifth largest moon in our solar system, after Ganymede, Titan, Callisto, and Io. The moon is an average of 238,855 miles, 384,400 kilometers, away from Earth. That means 30 Earth-sized planets could fit in between Earth and its moon. Mars, the fourth planet from the Sun, is a dusty, cold, desert world with a very thin atmosphere. This dynamic planet has seasons, polar ice caps, extinct volcanoes, canyons, and weather. Mars is one of the most explored bodies in our solar system, and it's the only planet where we've sent rovers to roam the alien landscape. NASA missions have found lots of evidence that Mars was much wetter and warmer, with a thicker atmosphere billions of years ago. With a radius of 2,106 miles, 3,390 kilometers, Mars is about half the size of Earth. From an average distance of 142 million miles, 228 million kilometers, Mars is 1.5 astronomical units away from the Sun. From this distance, it takes sunlight 13 minutes to travel from the Sun to Mars. As Mars orbits the Sun, it completes one rotation every 24.6 hours, which is very similar to one day on Earth, 23.9 hours. That a year on Mars lasts 669.6 solar days, which is the same as 687 Earth days. Mars' axis of rotation is tilted 25 degrees with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun. This is another similarity with Earth, which has an axial tilt of 23.4 degrees. Like Earth, Mars has distinct seasons, but they last longer than seasons here on Earth since Mars takes longer to orbit the Sun because it's farther away. And while here on Earth the seasons are evenly spread over the year, lasting 3 months or 1/4 of a year, on Mars the seasons vary in length because of Mars' elliptical, egg-shaped orbit around the Sun. The reason Mars looks reddish is due to oxidization, or rusting, of iron in the rocks, regolith, Martian soil, and dust of Mars. This dust gets kicked up into the atmosphere, and from a distance makes the planet appear mostly red. Mars has 2 small moons, Phobos and Deimos, that may be captured asteroids. They're potato-shaped because they have too little mass for gravity to make them spherical. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun and the largest in the solar system, by far more than twice as massive as the other planets combined. If it were a hollow shell, 1,000 Earths could fit inside. It's also the oldest planet, forming from the dust and gases left over from the Sun's formation 4.6 billion years ago. Jupiter has the shortest day in the solar system. One day on Jupiter takes 9.9 hours, the time it takes for Jupiter to rotate or spin around once. And Jupiter makes a complete orbit around the Sun in about 12 Earth years, 4,333 Earth days. Its equator is tilted with respect to its orbital path around the Sun by just 3 degrees. This means Jupiter spins nearly upright and does not have seasons as extreme as other planets do. Jupiter's environment is probably not conducive to life as we know it. The temperatures, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are most likely too extreme and volatile for organisms to adapt to. While planet Jupiter is an unlikely place for living things to take hold, the same is not true of some of its many moons. Europa is one of the likeliest places to find life elsewhere in our solar system. There is evidence of a vast ocean just beneath its icy crust, where life could possibly be supported. From an average distance of 484 million miles, 778 million kilometers, Jupiter is 5.2 astronomical units away from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Sun to Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight 43 minutes to travel from the Sun to Jupiter. Jupiter has 95 moons that are officially recognized by the International Astronomical Union. The 4 largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, were first observed by the astronomer Galileo Galilei in 1610 using an early version of the telescope. These 4 moons are known today as the Galilean satellites, and they're some of the most fascinating destinations in our solar system. The composition of Jupiter is similar to that of the Sun, mostly hydrogen and helium. Deep in the atmosphere, pressure and temperature increase, compressing the hydrogen gas into a liquid. As a gas giant, Jupiter doesn't have a true surface. The planet is mostly swirling gases and liquids. While a spacecraft would have nowhere to land on Jupiter, it wouldn't be able to fly through unscathed either. The extreme pressures and temperatures deep inside the planet crush, melt, and vaporize spacecraft trying to fly into the planet. Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun and the second largest planet in our solar system. Like fellow gas giant Jupiter, Saturn is a massive ball made mostly of hydrogen and helium. Saturn is not the only planet to have rings, but none are as spectacular or as complex as Saturn's. Saturn also has dozens of moons. From the jets of water that spray from Saturn's moon Enceladus to the methane lakes on smoggy Titan. The Saturn system is a rich source of scientific discovery and still holds many mysteries. Saturn's environment is not conducive to life as we know it. The temperatures, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are most likely too extreme and volatile for organisms to adapt to. While planet Saturn is an unlikely place for living things to take hold, the same is not true of some of its many moons. Satellites like Enceladus and Titan, home to internal oceans, could possibly support life. With an equatorial diameter of about 74,897 miles, 120,500 kilometers, Saturn is 9 times wider than Earth. From an average distance of 886 million miles, 1.4 billion kilometers, Saturn is 9.5 astronomical units away from the Sun. From this distance, it takes sunlight 80 minutes to travel from the Sun to Saturn. Saturn has the second shortest day in the solar system. One day on Saturn takes only 10.7 hours, and Saturn makes a complete orbit around the Sun day in about 29.4 Earth years, 10,756 Earth days. Its axis is tilted by 26.73 degrees with respect to its orbit around the Sun, which is similar to Earth's 23.5 degree tilt. This means that, like Earth, Saturn experiences seasons. As of June 8, 2023, Saturn has 146 moons in its orbit, with others continually awaiting confirmation of their discovery and official naming by the International Astronomical Union. Saturn's rings are thought to be pieces of comets, asteroids, or shattered moons that broke up before they reached the planet, torn apart by Saturn's powerful gravity. They are made of billions of small chunks of ice and rock coated with other materials, such as dust. Saturn's ring system extends up to 175,000 miles, 282,000 kilometers, from the planet, yet the vertical height is typically about 30 feet, 10 meters, in the main rings. Named alphabetically in the order they were discovered, the rings are relatively close to each other, with the exception of a gap measuring 2,920 miles, 4,700 kilometers, in width called the Cassini division that separates rings A and B. The main rings are A, B, and C. Rings D, E, F, and G are fainter and more recently discovered. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and the third largest planet in our solar system. It appears to spin sideways, about 4 times wider than Earth. Uranus is very cold and windy. It is surrounded by faint rings and more than 24 small moons. It rotates at a nearly 90-degree angle from the plane of its orbit. This unique tilt makes Uranus appear to spin on its side. Uranus was the first planet found with the aid of a telescope. It was discovered in 1781 by astronomer William Herschel, although he originally thought it was either a comet or a star. It was 2 years later that the object was universally accepted as a new planet, in part because of observations by astronomer Johann Alertbode. With an equatorial diameter of 31,763 miles, 51,118 kilometers, Uranus is 4 times wider than Earth. From an average distance of 1.8 billion miles, 2.9 billion kilometers, Uranus is about 19 astronomical units away from the Sun. From this distance, it takes sunlight 2 hours and 40 minutes to travel from the Sun to Uranus. One day on Uranus takes about 17 hours. Uranus makes a complete orbit around the Sun in about 84 Earth years, 30,687 Earth days. Neptune is the 8th and most distant planet from the Sun. It's the 4th largest and the first planet discovered with math. Dark, cold, and whipped by supersonic winds, giant Neptune is the 8th and most distant major planet orbiting our Sun, more than 30 times as far from the Sun as is Earth. Neptune is not visible to the naked eye. Neptune was the first planet located using math. In 2011, Neptune completed its first 165-year orbit since its discovery in 1846. Neptune is so far from the Sun that high noon on the big blue planet would seem like dim twilight to us. Galileo recorded Neptune as a fixed star during observations with his small telescope in 1612 and 1613. More than 200 years later, the ice giant became the first planet located through mathematical predictions rather than through regular observations of the sky. French mathematician Urbain Joseph Leverrier proposed the position and mass of a then-unknown planet that could cause the observed changes to Uranus' orbit. Leverrier sent his predictions to Johann Gottfried Galle at the Berlin Observatory, who found Neptune on his first night of searching in 1846. 17 days later, Neptune's largest moon, Triton, was discovered with an equatorial diameter of 30,775 miles, 49,528 kilometers. Neptune is about 4 times wider than Earth. From an average distance of 2.8 billion miles, 4.5 billion kilometers, Neptune is 30 astronomical units away from the Sun. From this distance, it takes sunlight 4 hours to travel from the Sun to Neptune. One day on Neptune takes about 16 hours, and Neptune makes a complete orbit around the Sun in about 165 Earth years, 60,190 Earth days. Neptune's axis of rotation is tilted 28 degrees with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun, which is similar to the axial tilts of Mars and Earth. This means that Neptune experiences seasons just like we do on Earth. However, since its year is so long, each of the 4 seasons lasts for over 40 years. Neptune has 16 known moons. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, was discovered on October 10, 1846 by William Lassell, just 17 days after Johann Gottfried Galle discovered the planet. Neptune is one of 2 ice giants in the outer solar system. The other is Uranus. Most, 80% or more, of the planet's mass is made up of a hot, dense fluid of icy materials, water, methane, and ammonia above a small, rocky core of the giant planets. Neptune is the densest. Neptune's atmosphere is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium with just a little bit of methane. Neptune's neighbor Uranus has a similar makeup. The methane absorbs other colors but reflects blue, giving these ice giants their similar hue. Many images of Neptune, coming from the Voyager 2 flyby in 1989, show Neptune as a much deeper blue. Pluto was once our solar system's 9th planet, but has been reclassified as a dwarf planet. The International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet in 2006. NASA's New Horizons was the first spacecraft to explore Pluto up close, flying by in 2015. It's located in the Kuiper Belt. Pluto is a complex and mysterious world with mountains, valleys, plains, craters, and glaciers. It is located in the distant Kuiper Belt. Discovered in 1930, Pluto was long considered our solar system's 9th planet. But after the discovery of similar worlds deeper in the Kuiper Belt, Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006 by the International Astronomical Union. Pluto is only about 1,400 miles wide. At that small size, Pluto is only about half the width of the United States. It's about 3.6 billion miles away from the Sun, and it has a thin atmosphere composed mostly of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. On average, Pluto's temperature is minus 387 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 232 degrees Celsius, making it too cold to sustain life. Pluto is orbited by 5 known moons, the largest of which is Charon. Charon is about half the size of Pluto itself, making it the largest satellite relative to the planet it orbits in our solar system. Pluto and Charon are often referred to as a double planet. Pluto's orbit around the Sun is unusual compared to the planets. It's both elliptical and tilted. Pluto's 248-year-long, oval-shaped orbit can take it as far as 49.3 astronomical units from the Sun, and as close as 30 astronomical units. But on average, Pluto is 3.7 billion miles, 5.9 billion kilometers, away from the Sun, or 39 astronomical units. One day on Pluto takes about 153 hours. Its axis of rotation is tilted 57 degrees with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun, so it spins almost on its side. Beyond Pluto, our solar system doesn't end here. Far past this tiny dwarf planet lies a mysterious region, the Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy worlds, frozen rocks, and ancient space debris. Many comets that light up our night sky are born here. Even farther away is the Oort cloud, a distant, invisible sphere surrounding our solar system. It holds billions of icy bodies and marks the outer edge of the Sun's gravity. Beyond that, only deep space, an endless ocean of stars, silence, and mysteries yet to be discovered. This is where our solar system fades into the Milky Way, and the journey never truly ends.